Earlier this week, I travelled to Bushy Heath, near Watford, to catch up with the former WBC light heavyweight champion, John Conteh. John, a very, very famous name from the early to mid-70s. A great man, great sense of humour. I wonder what he does these days. We don't see him around the boxing scene very much.
No particular reason. I go to a few fights. I just never really was that interested to get totally involved in the boxing, you know? And I do lots of other things anyway.
How do you spend your time now? I mean, I've seen the golf clubs in the hall. Play a lot of golf.
Yeah, I like to play the old golf. Tough game though, and but I like it. It's a great challenge.
In many ways, it's harder than boxing.
Yeah, because the ball doesn't move. It just stays there, you know. I'm used to things bobbing and weaving, trying to get out the way of the damage. So this just sits there, says, please hit me, and I find that very difficult. I keep saying, come on, move and fight fair, you little bugger.
Let's talk about your early boxing career. You turned pro in London with George Francis, and you started off as a heavyweight.
Yeah, my first 18 fights were heavyweights, because that's what George said I was going to blossom into. He used to talk like that, George. He thought I was a flower. A looping left.
So who made the decision to go down to light heavyweight, you or George? Or?
George. I just left all the decisions with George in that. You know, I just turned pro, handed myself over to the lads, George, and just done exactly what he said.
Were you beaten as a heavyweight?
Yes. I was beaten by a guy called, I'm panicking now because I forgot his name, but definitely shouldn't have had that last fight. I kept saying, I'm all right, ref, I'm all right. He says, I'm the timekeeper. What was his name now? Eddie Duncan. That was a heavyweight, Eddie Duncan. 10-round points decision over at Wembley.
And was it after that you decided to come down?
No, that was about the, I think it was about the 12th fight, something like that. And it wasn't until the 86 fights later, 18 heavyweight fights I had. The last one was with Terry Daniels in Las Vegas on the Muhammad Ali bill in 1973 at the convention centre there when he fought Joe Bugner.
So you went down to light heavyweight, and the first European fight that you had was against Rudi Schmidtke in Germany. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was a 15-round schedule for 15 rounds, but I was lucky enough to beat Rudi in 12 rounds, and it was really a good fight. You know, I enjoyed it, and it was a great thrill. The fight at Wembley was packed house.
Well, you had very big, a Liverpool lad, but you had a very big following in London. You were quite a favourite.
Yeah.
What were your fights with Chris Finnegan like? Two had epic battles with him.
Yeah, but Chris was one of the hardest fighters I've ever met. Very, very tough guy, and great boxer, former Olympic champion. I found it a very, very difficult fight. And the second one I didn't find too difficult, and I was stopped in 6 rounds. That's what I mean by too difficult. It didn't go that as far as the first one.
And all this roughing up inside isn't doing Finnegan's eyes any good either. And these two have forgot everything now except the primitive instinct to fight. And Finnegan's otherwise gone very badly, and it's all over. It's all over.
Well, next up for Conteh, a world title fight against Jorge Ahumada. How did he prepare for that one?
I was worried about it, just like I was worried about all the fights. I was nervous on all the fights, and but I used to just take inventory about my training, and I thought, well, I had to put everything in on the training area, and as long as I could say, yeah, answer that one with a yes, and that's it, I was ready. I knew I had the wherewithal within me to respond to whatever was going to be thrown at me out there. But of course, the occasion being a world championship was added just that more pressure.
What do you remember about that fight?
I just remember it was a very, very hard fight, and then the last third of the fight I was thinking, God, if I just keep in this now, I'll be champion. I'm bound to get it, because I feel I was winning on points in that, and I'd be champion. It was always at a sort of, especially towards the last third of the fight, there was a projection, you know, into the last round. I think, no, if I could see me the last round, the bell going and it was over and all that. Then I was thinking, well, it's only the 11th round. Got another 4 to go, yeah.
When that final bell came, how did you feel?
Fantastic. It was a really, you know, and it was a case of sort of couldn't wait for Harry Gibbs to get hold of my hand, you know. because I felt I'd won it. You didn't know, of course, like, no, but he grabbed hold of my hand, and it was great then. I felt good, and couldn't wait to get it off, because just in case, you know, it's going to change their minds, like, or something.
It's Conteh, world light heavyweight champion at 23.
That was the other world champion, and I'd have to think in my mind, was it a dream? Because I thought, you know, you have dreams like this, and they're quite nice and all that, and you have to wake up, you realise it wasn't a dream. It's such a disappointment. I had to sort of think hard now. It's not a dream, is it?
We go to May 77, and you were stripped of the title for refusing to defend against Miguel Coelho. Why did you refuse to defend?
I just didn't want to go. I had troubles with management, Mickey Duff, George Francis and that. And I thought, nah, I'm not going over there. You fight for it, you know. I wasn't getting the money I wanted. Felt I was being ripped off, and that was it. I said I wasn't bothered.
The title changed hands, went to Matty Parloff, and then you had to travel to Belgrade in 1978. Is that a tough decision, tough fight?
Well, it wasn't such a tough decision, because there was money there, you know. So I wasn't where the money was, and it was a tough fight. I felt I won the fight, too, but being where it was in Parloff's home city and that.
Backyard.
Yeah, I didn't really, wasn't that disappointed, you know. I knew I gave him the best. That's all you can do.
And your two fights with Matthew Saad Mohammed. The first one, you were sort of nigh on at the winning post, and it kind of went wrong. In the 14th.
I tripped over the right hand in the 14th. Forgot to duck.
Well, memories from the not-too-distant past. Portrait there from 1978 of the young John Conteh. Ever the family man now, he wasn't renowned for it in his early days, but what were the highest and the lowest points of his career?
Well, the high point was winning the World Championship in 1974. Absolutely magnificent, you know. And the saddest point was when somebody knocked me drink over in this bar.
John, you gave a lot of people a lot of pleasure in your career. How would you like to be remembered?
Well, I gave 100%, you know, the way I looked at it. And whatever fights I was involved in, I just give 100%, give the best I could.
Well, without doubt, one of the best boxers we've ever produced, and being a Liverpool man, he's never lost his sense of humour.
Okay, come out with you, man.
Something about Scousers, they never lose their sense of humour, do they? Great name.